Hey friends, welcome back. We've made it through the end of our low spend January. We're all very happy to be done. I've said it before, but January seems to be the easiest month to accomplish this. We're not like traveling. We've just come off of Christmas, so everybody has everything that they want. It just doesn't seem to be very hard. We've all kind of just overindulged in all the holiday foods, so we don't mind just like some really simple meals and stuff. And January just seems to be a good time to get it done. So I've had some questions about, we did make our $300 grocery budget goal. We only spent $300 in the month of January for groceries. And I've had some questions about how we only spent $300. So I made myself a little list here. We ate every scrap of leftovers. So when you're doing a pantry challenge or like a really low spend grocery budget, you have to eat all the leftovers. It's my personal belief that we should be eating all the leftovers anyway. I really hate to waste food. So I've just gotten in the habit, if we have leftover, or if we have dinner and then there's not enough for like everybody to have leftovers the next night, which is kind of the case now because we have 5 basically eating adults in the house now. There's not enough leftovers for like a whole second dinner. There might be enough leftovers for like 2 people to have lunch the next day. So that's typically what we will do. Or if nobody wants it, and it's freezable, I will just pop it in the freezer. And we had a couple of dinners and lunches this month where I would just pull out all of the little cartons of leftovers from the freezer. Everybody got to pick what they wanted, and then we just had a leftover, pull it from the freezer, eat what you want type of thing. The more you do that, the more that really helps with your grocery budget. I made all of our bread and baked goods and desserts. Now, you could argue probably that if you can find like cheap 97-cent loaf bread or whatever, that you could buy bread cheaper. None of us like that bread personally, and we just all really like homemade bread, and so nobody complained about that. I made all of our rolls. I was gonna make hot dog buns, but again, I noticed I had like 2 hot dog buns in this package and 3 hot dog buns in that package, like just shoved in the freezer. So I pulled out all of those, which is not anybody's favorite. Hot dog buns frozen are never as good as they are fresh. But you stick them in the microwave for a couple seconds, and we made use of those hot dog buns. So a prime example this past weekend was, the Lions were in the playoff game or whatever, and both of the girls, so Jalea needed to bring rolls or bread, and Journey needed to bring a dessert to their youth group. They were having dinner that night. Ordinarily, like on a Sunday, if I haven't planned ahead or whatever, we would just stop at Aldi and I would grab a package of rolls and I would grab a package of cookies and send them on their way. But being low spend January, I knew that we could not do that. And then my husband and son Jericho, they went to like a get together to watch the game with some friends or whatever, and they needed to bring a dessert also. So did I want to spend my Sunday afternoon making rolls and making 2 desserts from scratch? I did not. But I did. I had everything at home. It was fine. And so you have to do stuff like that when you're trying to keep your grocery budget super low. You can't give in to the convenience factor because that always costs way more. So that comes to my next thing. We cut out all convenience foods. Basically anything pre-packaged. There was a few things here and there that I bought pre-packaged, but I made cookies and put them in little individual bags and stuck them in the freezer for the kids to be able to pull out and put in their lunches. We did big bags of chips that they had to pre-package for their lunches, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but everyone really likes the convenience of just grabbing those little individually packaged things and tossing them in their lunches in the morning, because I haven't packed a kid's lunch in over 10 years probably. All my kids pack their own lunches. I make sure there's stuff for lunches, and they all take care of it and pack what they want. So that's a little tip for you moms with young children. Teach them to pack their own lunches very early on, and it will save you a lot of time in the morning. What else? Along those lines, we pretty much only drank water for the whole month of January. All of our fun drinks, we had some lingering around from the holidays that we kind of finished up, but I didn't buy any sparkling water. I didn't buy any of our Zevia. I had enough coffee to get through the month. I didn't buy any coffee. I used up, like you get like a gift basket of coffee, or like a gift basket, and there's like just little bitty things of coffee in there. I had a bunch of those in the pantry that I've never used, and so I used those all month long to not buy coffee this month. So I would argue that people probably have enough stuff in their pantries to get through at least 2 weeks probably. It's just stuff that you haven't used or don't know how to use or haven't wanted to use. And that's the other thing that we did. I used up ingredients that were just hanging around. So I really tried hard in the pantry to pick stuff that I knew needed to be used up. And I just kind of looked in the freezer. So there wasn't a lot of recipe following this month. It was kind of just like make it up as you go, which not everybody is comfortable with or likes doing. But you can do a Google search. You can like put ingredients in and that you have on hand, and it will pull up a recipe for you if you just absolutely have to follow a recipe. That's really simple to do. So I also substituted for ingredients I didn't have. So if I was following a recipe, I'm trying to think of something like, let's say the recipe calls for butter, and you don't have any more butter left. Well, you have some other sort of fat, I'm sure, that you could use, like either olive oil, avocado oil, vegetable oil, shortening. Like you most likely have something that you can substitute. Like you don't have any milk left. You can thin out your coffee cream, like half and half. You can thin that out with water and use that. Or sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can substitute water for milk in recipes, or another liquid, juice or something like that. So that's how we stuck to only a $300 budget. I will say though, I have a very well stocked pantry and freezers. I personally keep it really stocked up with all the basics: flour, oil, sugar, all the baking things, beans, rice, like all your basics. I always have that stuff on hand. I did not deplete my freezers of meat though, to where then this next month I'm just gonna have to go buy all meat, because I never bought any meat this month. If you caught my last grocery haul, I did stock up on some meat that I didn't have a need for this last week of the challenge, to kind of replenish some of the meat that I had used from the freezer. So we do have a very well-stocked pantry freezer system, but I did really try to use up stuff that was just kind of lingering around that none of us were very excited about. All right, a couple of last things until I tell you exactly how much money that we saved. We said no to all the extras, and it might seem silly to say no to a $3 pretzel at the concession stand, but all of those little things seriously add up over the course of a whole month. So, I mean, it's gotten to the points where the kids don't even ask, because they know that we're doing low spend January. So none of them ask, and they did spend their own money on certain things that they really wanted, but we used gift cards. We all kind of save our gift cards for this challenge. The kids had gotten some gift cards for Christmas that they used. I used some Starbucks gift cards and Chick-fil-A gift cards. We all really enjoy that. It kind of makes the month not so long if you can kind of break it up with some stuff like that. And then just a little update from my last update, we had $0 that we spent that were unexpected expenditures. So like, Jason took Jericho to Dunham's Sports and they went and got, helmet, batting gloves, and a new baseball bag. And those are purchases that we've been saving for basically since last summer when we knew he would need all of that new stuff. And they just had baseball tryouts, and so they went and got those things before he had to go and use them during baseball tryouts. So, but we have not spent any extra money since that last update. The only thing is when Jason and Jericho went to that football party, they were supposed to bring a dessert and money for pizza. Well, there was no money for pizza in the budget this month at all. But I never used that $15 I had set aside for 2 emergency Little Caesars pizzas. And so I did give them that $15 to go contribute to the pizza that they were having at that party. So I'm glad that I saved that because they would have just not participated probably if, to stay on track or whatever. And so I'm glad that I didn't end up needing that money that I had set aside, and I was able to give that to them to go enjoy pizza at a friend's house. So, okay, that I think is everything that I wanted to mention. And so now the total amount that we saved for the month of January was $639.29. So my goal was $500, and we surpassed that. And I'm very, very pleased with that number. That will be going directly into, you'll see me cash stuff it next time. Actually, I have a meat stock up envelope that we really need to get like a quarter of a cow within the next 2 months probably. So that is our goal. That's anywhere from like $800 to $1,000, somewhere in there. So we surpassed our goal, which I was very, very pleased with. And now we will have the money, which pretty much a quarter of a cow. We don't have beef like all the time. We do a lot of chicken, we do a lot of pork. But if I'm remembering correctly, a quarter of a cow lasts my family almost a year, I think. Real close to it. So if you price out beef, it's very expensive, and this is a much more economical way for us to do it. Plus the meat is way better, and we personally know the farmers that raise the meat and all that. So very happy with that. Very happy to be done. My family's very happy to be done. And now just a little note, moving ahead to the month of February, you can't go hog wild and go over budget in all of your categories in February because you had such a lean January, if that makes sense. So I've been tweaking my grocery list, tweaking my budget here and there, trying to figure out how I'm going to get the things that we ran out of that we need while still staying in budget for February. So that is very key. Or you will kind of undo a lot of your hard work that you've done in the month of January. So I hope this was interesting for you and helpful for you. I like encouraging people to do a low spend month. It's always beneficial. We always learn something new, and just kind of reins in the spending. Makes us very grateful for all of the things that we do have, and just a great use of your resources to kind of use up those things lingering around the house that you would either throw out or that just would just sit there and then you would give them away or throw them out, whatever. So hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.